Avi Lewis. Hello. Why was the only flag that we saw the Palestinian flag?
The federal NDP is facing an uphill battle as it contests 3 by-elections on August 31st, including one right here in Toronto's Beaches East York riding. The party's chances of winning any of these races are slim, but the contests also provide a window into the NDP's rebuilding process under new leader Avi Lewis. Now, Lewis ran on a plan to democratize the party and to give the grassroots more power and responsibility. We shadowed some campaign activities to see if that promise is taking shape.
Hi there.
So I'll just say I voted Liberal last election, mostly because the idea of Pierre Poilievre, Prime Minister, was scary. But I gotta say, I'm really disillusioned with this talk of pipelines, endlessly talking about pipelines.
Don't forget, we're paying for it.
Talking about giving Alberta the right to have privatized healthcare. And I'm just saying those are all principles that Mark Carney never supported before he became Prime Minister. And I don't understand what the emphasis is for him on pleasing Alberta at the expense of climate change.
Sometimes it's a lot easier for people to organize to say no to something than it is to say yes to something.
Definitely.
How do you engage with that?
Well, the no battles are important because they channel people's rage at the cynicism of how politics is done. Where is the either ideological or principled anchor that says we need to go this way because this is the right thing to do that will benefit the vast majority of us? This is our vision. You don't have to agree with every part of it. This is why we exist, to fight for this set of things. That's the kind of politics that we're doing.
Right.
And that's not the kind of politics the Liberal Party or the Conservative Party has ever done. You know, the Conservative movement in Canada does have an ideology. I find it to be a divisive and sometimes hateful one, but there is something to it that anchors them to a vision of society. The Liberal Party does not. The Liberal Party wants to stay in power forever, and they are prepared to go whichever way the wind blows them. He's veered so far to the right that people who voted for him are starting to have that buyer's remorse. It's actually happening. We can see it. And so the opening is there for us. And that's when we start talking about the Green New Deal. That's when we start talking about Canada having an independent foreign policy, being clearly against genocide, being clearly for peace instead of endless wars. Like, we can introduce the yeses once we've made the connection on the no. That's where politics is right now. And so that's where we go.
Your dad and my grandfather were NDC nerds together.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who's your grandpa?
Donald Ewing. He was like a CCF guy way back in the day. And yeah.
Hi, Shannon.
Shannon,
So
I'm
nice to meet you.
This is your awesome candidate in the by-election. Shannon is
At your event.
coming to the rally. Great.
Thank you for your support.
I love this blog.
I know. It's
This is not all advanced. Some of this is impromptu.
Hello, Beaches East York! People, we have an urgent problem right now. There's too many people who can't get in. Shuffle over to the side, you folks at the back, and let's let in a fresh breeze and a few more people.
The cost of housing is just going up the roof. Groceries and everyday necessities are becoming more and more expensive. So at the same time that that is happening, some of our most fundamental rights are being under attack. The right to bargain, the right to stand together, the right to strike.
Shannon and I were out on the doors this afternoon, and something is happening under the surface, people.
Our folks are coming home, and we are getting a flood of new people who are interested in the Democrats because we have concrete solutions, like a public option for groceries, like a national cap on rents, like a humans first AI policy. We have concrete solutions to the everyday emergency that our neighbors are facing. The price of groceries is disgusting. And Galen Weston is worth $20 billion. We have a society and an economy that is out of whack and out of balance. We are here to send a message in a cry so loud it echoes through the halls of power. The NDP has not gone away.
So I heard you mentioning your French. How is that going?
Très bien, merci. Yeah, I guys had 3 weeks of 3 hours every morning in Montreal and door knocking and meetings in French, and it was great.
Can you order your Tim Hortons order in French yet?
I can do a bit more than that. On a good day, I can use the subjunctive appropriately.
So I know that there were rumors or maybe some hopes that you might even run in here in Beaches East York.
Yeah, I was tempted, for sure. It's just too soon. There's so much work to do across the country. And what I have learned spending a lot more time in Ottawa, our opportunities are limited by not having party status.
Yeah.
So we don't have seats on committees. We don't have we have 7 question period questions in a week that come after all the cabinet ministers are like leaving. And right now the caucus has been clear. And frankly, our base has been clear. People want me out here in actual Canada and not just in the Ottawa bubble.
What would you say is the status of the party as you have found it coming into this role?
It's been really, really challenging. I think we inherited a party that had experienced devastating loss and had a staffing complement that I can only describe it as heroically holding the party together. Very, very limited resources and staffing. It's a long rebuild because I think the party, and not just the party, but more broadly speaking, people, working people across the country over the last, couple of decades have become increasingly unable, and it's by design, to organize in their communities. And when you're working 2 or 3 jobs and struggling, you're not gonna use your free time to do community organizing.
I've been working on campaigns for about 6 or 7 years within the NDP, really trying to get progressives elected in different communities. I think there's definitely been a shift in the party, and I think a lot of that has to do with really strong leadership.
A lot more energy in the riding, lots of energy towards Avi being our leader, a lot more focus on the NDP as the voice that actually responds to what people want.
I think he has energized the NDP base and then also grown it. So we have more volunteers and different volunteers coming in the door, people that actually were part of Avi's campaign. While it's challenging to make changes in terms of the party apparatus, it is happening.
Party positions has been a contentious thing for a lot of people around here, but we have grown more and more openly socialist, I guess, is like the thing, and people are responding to that because I don't think they accept the capitalist view of how a society is supposed to run.
We have, EDAs that require new leadership because they've electoral district associations, and some that have been dormant for a long time. A huge metric of success is seeing community members come out and support each other under the banner of the NDP, seeing the NDP show up in protests and marches and, community-led struggles, wearing orange, sure, but not standing at the front. And we need to be very clear-eyed that the NDP is not the leader of those struggles, but it is the electoral arm that can bring those struggles into the parliament. Having a party that shows up for community before expecting them to show up for us is what I will be most proud of if we can accomplish that in the next few years.
I can bring in my aunties that have been organizing community food drives when someone's friend passes away and making sure that we're doing those mutual aid practices. And I'm also bringing in that auntie to say she has important strategies and tactics that she's employed in her community, and she's also a leader that this party needs to listen to. I'm bringing in those people with me, and that's exactly what every single leader in this party is starting to focus on, so that we can actually have a coalition that is strong and built on the collective.
Do you worry about getting the message out and not being in Ottawa where the media is, not having question period? Do you worry about being able to reach as many people as possible?
I feel like we're reaching people pretty well. For a party with 5 seats, we have been able to cut through the clutter a number of times. I think arriving in Ottawa, demanding a ban on surveillance pricing, it's unfair, it's a ripoff, and it's downright creepy. We didn't get the ban, but we sparked a national conversation. We were able to work in concert with provincial sections. Wabkanu had already passed it in Manitoba. Marit Stiles here. Everyone, from the NDP in Nova Scotia to Saskatchewan were calling for the same thing. And that's a good model of how we can, break through in national conversations.
Now, when you're part of a small org or a grassroots group and you don't have a ton of money, you try to make up for it often with people power.
Yep.
You try to organize. Do you see that being the model for the NDP right now, is substituting maybe a lack of flush cash with volunteer and popular mobilization?
It is a happy accident that our actual theory of change, our organizing philosophy, is bottom-up, mass mobilization style of political organizing, where we give a lot more autonomy and power to the base to exponentially grow at the base in like really self-directed ways. And that was the offer that we made during the leadership campaign in terms of our vision for party renewal. It is also a necessity because we're not going to be able to do these things with money, but it's also our preference because we're not just trying to win elections. We're actually trying to change the material conditions of the life of the majority of Canadians. And as part of that, we need to build an organizing culture in the NDP that is more open, that is looser and able to double down on community fights wherever they are. That has to be woven through the left party's culture, and the left party has to be woven into those bigger struggles. And so when you have that kind of organizing approach, it's not paid consultants, it's not mass market advertising and stuff like that. It really is the patient work of building organizing capacity at the ground level.
It's about building trust, and electoral politics has not given people a reason in recent history to trust it. The proof will be in the work. The proof will be in what we're bringing to the House. The proof will be in what we're saying publicly, what we're committing to, what the policy and political offers are. And if you see yourself represented in the things that we're actually running on, that we're actually pushing for, that we're actually doing, then vote for us. And so we're going to do that. And then you can make up your mind.
Why was the convention, why was the only flag that we saw the Palestinian flag?
Well, so I invited up 50 or 60 people.
You must have control.
No, we didn't. I invited up all the volunteers. I'm telling you the truth. Well, you don't have to believe.
No,
it happens to be true. First, we had a plan to invite up a number of labor leaders who were there. And then I was just like, campaign volunteers, everybody come on up. Someone brought a Palestinian flag, which I'm proud to stand in front of. There was a Canadian flag that was wall side on the other wall. It was a moment of celebration. Someone was very committed to Palestinian liberation, a lot of flags and what he did. And that just happened.
Yeah, I just think it's a terrible message to send.
I think that having talked to thousands and thousands of people, Canadians are upset and traumatized about the genocide in Gaza.
It's not a genocide.
Well,
that's where we genocide is when Jews aren't allowed to fight back.
I understand that there are deep, deep feelings in our community about this.
Yes.
And you and I are on opposite sides.
We are.
I think we're just going to move along because
thanks for chasing me down.
We have a meeting.
I'm happy to be accountable for my decisions. I did not choose to bring the Palestinian flag on stage, but I was happy to stand in front of it.
So about that, that's pretty crazy.
There you go.